Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
I'm Carolee McGrath. It's back to school time for Catholic schools. We'll take you there.
Bishop Mitchell ROZANSKI reflects on his first year as the shepherd of the Diocese of Springfield. And a viewing party for the Pope's U.S. visit. These stories and more are just ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel.
Here is your Reel to Reel host, Sharon Roulier.
Hello and welcome to Reel to Reel. Well, despite this past week's late summer heat wave, students across the Diocese of Springfield are back in the swing of things with the start of the new school year. While every September always means a change in routine for Holyoke Catholic and Cathedral students, it means a new transition as well. Both schools will merge and become Pope Francis High School next year, and students are beginning to come together this fall on the sports field as the merger process is now underway. And there are some changes for Catholic school students in the Berkshires as well. Carolee McGrath takes us back to school.
It's back to school at Holyoke Catholic in Chicopee with students back to hitting the books. Finn Murray is excited to start her junior year. She's eyeing the Ivy League with a 4.2 grade point average.
I am taking Sacraments and Morality, French 3 honors, Chemistry honors, AP American Literature, AP US History, and Honors Pre-Calc.
Finn, who's involved in theater and Model United Nations, was also a member of the high school merger committee, which helped pick the name and mascot for the Diocese of Springfield's new Pope Francis High School. Bishop Mitchell ROZANSKI announced the merger of Holyoke Catholic and Cathedral High School last winter. In June, he announced the new school would be built at the Surrey Road location in Springfield, where Cathedral had been for decades. The June 2011 tornado severely damaged Cathedral and the surrounding East Forest Park neighborhood. Cathedral is currently located at the former Memorial School in Wilbraham.
We had a really productive group. The people on both sides were really great, and we all worked together really well, and we got to know each other, and that was fantastic. We made some good friends, and I think that, not everybody's going to be happy no matter what decision we make, but I think we're proud of what we did.
This will be the last year Holyoke Catholic and Cathedral will operate under their respective names. In the fall of 2016, the schools will officially be combined under the name of Pope Francis High School. The decision on where students will attend for that year will be announced in October. Braden Brown, a junior at Holyoke Catholic, was also on the committee. He's also taking AP and honors classes.
I know that what I do here is kind of leads to my future, so I want to make sure I do everything right in high school so I can get into a good college and have success later on in life.
During the summer, the administration and faculty of both high schools met with the Transitional Advisory Committee, which is overseeing the merger process. Mary Ann Linehan is the principal of Holyoke Catholic.
It does feel different. It feels exciting. The end of the year last year, the kids had a lot of questions and parents had a lot of questions and concerns. And we've been trying to address them as they happen throughout the summer. And the faculty and the students have arrived with the usual Holyoke Catholic spirit and excitement, just ready to have a great year.
Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit.
Classes are also underway at Cathedral High School. John Miller, the principal, said the transition has begun with the sports programs at both schools, with the merger of Holyoke Catholic and Cathedral's fall sports teams.
It's going to be an exciting program the kids are already talking about in terms of athletics because of a combination. And throughout the year, we're going to be working with Holyoke Catholic and trying to merge our program of studies.
Ann Daly, a senior at Cathedral, is also on the soccer team.
I'm really excited. I think it's definitely a really good thing. Like now my soccer team, we're merging with Holyoke Catholic, and all the girls are really great, and the coach is Holyoke Catholic, and she's really welcoming, and it's just a really great atmosphere.
Tim Sears, a junior, runs cross country.
The cross country team's actually really excited about the merger because we got two of their best runners, and we were looking forward to having a great team this year, and We want to, the goal is actually states, and with those 2 runners, it's possible.
While the merger is exciting for some, it's been disappointing for others. Kevin White, the new Chief Advancement Officer for Pope Francis High School, says he hopes to bring alumni from both schools together to support Catholic education in the diocese.
We need their support both financially and to be ambassadors to draw more students so that everybody realizes that we're there, we're providing an amazing, challenging curriculum, outstanding athletics in a faith-based, gospel-based institution, which I think in this day and age is very important. It always has been in the diocese.
Here in the Berkshire, St. Agnes Academy in Dalton is also undergoing a transition as they welcome more than 40 new students from St. Mark's Catholic School in Pittsfield, which recently closed.
We have 43 additional students from St. Mark at the beginning of this year, so we didn't know what to expect really. So we have a lot more students, 189 to be exact, and but the integration has gone very, very well. Kids seem very comfortable, and reports from parents are that it's gone well.
Lucas Kissel, an 8th grader taking algebra, says even at his young age, he really appreciates being able to pray in class.
Some kids I know don't even know much about Jesus or God or like the Beatitudes or like religious things like that. So I feel lucky to be here.
Okay, I show her how to turn the bees into butterflies on the invitations.
Father Chris Malatesta is the pastor of St. Agnes Catholic Community.
Kids are the future of the church, and I do a lot of youth work, both here at the parish and then Camp Holy Cross as well. I would say the kids are part of the church right now, so they bring a lot of value. I say one thing that kids do to our parish is they fulfill a lot of the roles as altar servers, and they do a lot of ministry, and our youth groups do a lot of service work and everything. So, I think they inspire the adults to get involved and to be active as well.
And to live out their Catholic faith with great joy. Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
And as we wish all the students a successful year, I hope all of you who are teachers and parents have gotten used to the new routine as well. My own daughters are now both seniors this year, one in high school and one in college. Boy, the time does go by so fast, which is so true considering that it was already a year ago that Springfield Bishop Mitchell ROZANSKI became the 9th Bishop of Springfield. Peggy Weber sat down with the bishop recently and talked with him about his first year here in Western Massachusetts and his plans going forward.
Welcome, Bishop.
Thank you, Peggy. It's great to be with you here today.
And happy anniversary.
Well, thank you very much. It's hard to believe it's been a year already.
I know. And I remember when you had just come here about a year ago, I said to you, "My, you're quite popular." And then you jokingly said, "Until I make a decision." Now, your goal isn't necessarily a popularity contest, but you have had some big decisions this year. Tell us about them.
Well, when I arrived in the diocese, and I was briefed on so many issues, and one of them certainly was the rebuilding of Cathedral High School. And I knew that we had to take a look not only just at the rebuilding of Cathedral High School, but really eventually the whole Catholic education system here in the Diocese of Springfield. But the presenting issue when I got here was the rebuilding of Cathedral High School. And it needed to be looked at from a perspective of long range. The enrollment had been declining, certainly, and the facility that would be built would be a huge investment by the diocese, perhaps the largest investment the diocese had ever made. So I knew that that was a decision that could not be done in a vacuum. It had to be done with great consultation, with talking with the different groups. I knew that there would be upset about it, certainly, because there had been expectations that had been set, but it still needed to be done.
Bishop Mitch also has made some other major decisions regarding youth ministry and evangelization.
Well, when I arrived here, a series of letters that I received was of the concern for youth ministry in the diocese and the support for the parishes of youth ministers there. coming from the diocesan office. So through a gift that was given to the diocese in a bequest, we were able to put that money toward an endowment for youth ministry.
Right.
And then in the evangelization efforts, I knew that as I traveled throughout the diocese, there were people who were either disaffected by the church or had stopped practicing their faith. So again, not characteristic only of the Diocese of Springfield, but I think really of dioceses around the country. There are many who have stopped practicing their faith, whom we want to invite back and to say, welcome, we are the church, we are here to support you, we're here to live the gospel, please come back. So this coming year, and coincidentally with the Year of Mercy, it seems an appropriate time to have this effort of evangelization.
And he has kept his promise to get around the 4 counties and visit the people as much as possible.
I think I've been to around 60 to 65 of the parishes in one form or another, either for Sunday Mass or for confirmations or for different events that have taken place at the parish. So I still have a few more to cover, but it's been a good year being able to just get out to see so many of the parishes, to meet the people of the parishes, the priests and the deacons, the religious who work in the parishes, and the parish staffs, seeing very dedicated people at work.
This fall, he also is planning an extended parish visitation program.
It's a pastoral visit that takes a good chunk of time, a day or two, to be spent at the parish, to meet with the pastor, the parish staff, with the different lay groups of the parish, the pastoral council, any of the groups that make indeed the parish a community of vibrancy, to meet with them, and to, after that, give back to the parish my feedback of commendations and of recommendations, asking the parish to take, when I give back to them and feed back to them in terms of a report, in their future plans, to roll that report in their planning for the future.
Bishop launched his own Facebook page and cited Bishop Fulton Sheehan as his inspiration. He has gone back to Baltimore and says he calls his parents about 3 or 4 times a week. Bishop Mitch also keeps busy with his work with the Ecumenical and Interfaith Council with the USCCB, and he will be involved in the papal visit.
The Holy Father is coming to Washington, D.C. first, where he will meet with the bishops at St. Matthew's Cathedral, and then we will have Mass on the side of the National Shrine, where he will canonize Blessed Junipero Serra, the great missionary of the western part of the United States. There's also an ecumenical and interfaith service that will be held at Ground Zero at the site of the World Trade Center. And so I will be part of that part of the visit at the prayer service. And then, of course, to the World Meeting of Families in Philadelphia. And we will have that wonderful Mass that will be celebrated on the front steps of the museum.
And he understands that this has been a busy and important year.
So, Bishop, we've returned to the scene of the crime, more or less. You were installed here about a year ago. What were you thinking then, and what are you thinking now?
Well, you know, Peggy, when I was a newly ordained priest and awaiting my first assignment, I never knew what I was getting into. I didn't know where I was going to be assigned, but any assignment that I've had in a parish, and then kind of the surprise assignment to me with being asked to be auxiliary bishop in Baltimore, and then being asked to be Bishop of Springfield, I just felt, though, wasn't of my own making, this is God's making, this is what God wants, and He's confident in my gifts if He's asked me to do this, so put my gifts to the best of my ability.
When asked about his personal goals, Bishop ROZANSKI's focus, as always, was on his faith.
Personal goals is to be able to, in all of the busyness of life, to be able to have that time, and to preserve that time for prayer, and to make sure that as I'm spiritually taking care of the needs of others, that I also deepen my relationship with the Lord, because that is not only a personal goal, but it's an example for everyone. And I feel that is a very important part of being a bishop.
And as Bishop Mitch enters his 2nd year, We asked him if he had long-term goals.
Well, as I'm looking at the diocese, working with the different collaborative groups, for example, the Clergy Commission, the Presbyteral Council, the Finance Council, certainly there are goals that are immediate that we mentioned, the evangelization, the education, the Year of Mercy in collaboration with Pope Francis calling for that Year of Mercy beginning on December the 8th. But I think that working in those goals will certainly broaden out to long-term goals in the future. So I feel very, very supported here in ministry as bishop, and I'm grateful for all that support.
Well, thanks a lot, Bishop, and thanks for taking the time to talk to us. And we wish you, ad multos anos, many more years.
For many years, indeed. Thank you so much, Peggy, and thanks for taking the time to be with me today.
Oh, glad to do it. Thanks, Bishop.
Thank you.
You can read the full unedited interview with Bishop Mitch on our Western Mass Catholic Voices blog page or watch it online on our YouTube page. You can find both at iobserve.org. And still to come on Reel to Reel, Dan Dumas takes a look at what's happening in the Diocese of Springfield. And Holyoke Catholic's Performing Arts Club presents Guys and Dolls. These stories and more are still to come on this edition of Reel to Reel.
I will come through you.
The Chalice of Salvation, your weekly spiritual connection. I'm Passionist Brother Terrence Scanlon, your Chalice host, inviting you to join us this Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Join us this week as we welcome Bishop Mitchell ROZANSKI as our Mass presider and celebrate the 24th Sunday in Ordinary Time and the 5th Annual Pink Mass from St. Michael's Cathedral. The Chalice of Salvation, your weekly spiritual connection. Sunday morning at 10 here on 22 News.
I'm Dan Dumas with your Reel to Reel news brief. Pope Francis again made headlines this week with his announcement that there will be reforms in the annulment process. Peggy Weber tells us more.
The annulment process in the Catholic Church has been changed and streamlined. On Tuesday, Pope Francis released 2 papal documents for the Latin Rite Church and the Eastern Catholic Church, which called for speed, affordability, and compassion. Monsignor John Bonzani, who has been the judicial vicar since 2004 for the Diocese of Springfield, explained the details at a morning press conference.
What happens currently is there's a divorce. One of the parties wishes to know what their status is in the church. So they apply for a declaration of invalidity. It's kind of like, would you please study the marriage to see if at the beginning it was validly contracted.
This process required an automatic appeal to another diocese. Springfield heard appeals from Fall River and Boston. Springfield's appeals were sent to Portland, Maine. Now there are only appeals upon request, and those will go to Boston.
What's changed is now you only need one affirmative decision. Right away, that cuts about 3 months out of the process. Because you only need one decision.
Monsignor said the Vatican decision also requires every diocese have a tribunal, and it also strengthens the role of the bishop in the annulment process. And the papal document also addresses cost.
This also mandates that tribunals not charge anything. We had already begun conversations with the bishop about this.
Currently, the diocese requests a $450 donation, but it is only a request. Monsignor Bonzani stressed that money has never played a role in the annulment process in the Diocese of Springfield, and he credited the late Bishop Joseph McGuire with helping to fund the tribunal through the diocese so that fees were not essential. Monsignor Bonzani also said that there is more to be learned about the papal documents.
And there seems to be a possibility of a shortened version of a declaration of invalidity for what's being termed obvious cases, and no one really knows what that means.
The tribunal averages about 125 to 200 annulment applications a year. Monsignor said that almost all of them are affirmative. For more information about the annulment process, contact the Tribunal at tribunal@diospringfield.org or call 413-452-0664.
And in other news involving the Holy Father, last Sunday he asked Catholic communities across Europe to welcome Syrian refugees fleeing their war-torn nation. During last Sunday's Angelus, the Pope called upon parishes, religious communities, monasteries, and sanctuaries all across Europe to give concrete expression of the gospel and receive a family of refugees. And to lead the way, the Vatican announced it would welcome 2 families. And finally, it was a long overdue farewell to a beloved and long-standing church in Springfield's Indian Orchard neighborhood. Carolee McGrath tells us more.
In the parking lot of the old St. Jude Mission Church on Main Street in Indian Orchard, parishioners gathered for a farewell mass on a recent Sunday morning. It was a bittersweet moment as people said goodbye to the old church and looked forward to building anew.
I got married in this church. This is important to us. I'm getting, I got to lose this one to get my own church back, new church back, and it hurts. A lot of parishioners are here because this is goodbye for us.
St. Jude was hit by the July 2011 microburst. After 2 inspections revealed serious structural damage, the church was forced to close. Father Bill Pomerlow is the pastor.
Well, today is a farewell ceremony because of the circumstances when we had to abandon this building overnight, when we discovered how badly damaged it was. We never got a chance to say goodbye like some parishes do when they close a church.
Parishioners have been attending Our Lady of the Sacred Heart Parish on Boston Road in Springfield, where Father Pomerlow also serves as pastor. He says with the help of a $1.4 million insurance settlement, the parish will rebuild a church that will seat up to 250 people.
It's an opportunity to downsize and create something new, something energy efficient, something that can be open to the community, multi-purpose building with removable seating so we can have community meetings and church gatherings as well as the liturgy. So it's a really marvelous good news so it means we don't have to leave this neighborhood.
St. Jude Mission Church dates back to 1873. The new church will continue to have masses in both English and Spanish. Francisco Rosario was married at St. Jude, and all 3 of his children were baptized there as well. He says it's where he grew in his faith.
Me as a Christian, as a Catholic, it's very important to show with my example, that Jesus lived and he's there for us.
Father Pomerlow says he hopes to celebrate Easter Mass in the new building next spring. I'm Carolee McGrath reporting.
And remember, you can stay informed on all the happenings here in the Diocese of Springfield and beyond at our news and information website, iobserve.org. There you'll find up-to-the-minute and accurate news in the Catholic Church, both here in the Diocese of Springfield and beyond. That's our news and information website, iobserve.org. I'm Dan Dumas, and that's your Real to Real News Brief.
And in just 2 weeks, Pope Francis will be visiting the U.S., traveling to Philadelphia, New York, and Washington, D.C. One of the highlights of his visit will be an address to the joint session of Congress. Catholic Communications is partnering with the College of Our Lady of the Elms in Chicopee as it offers 2 viewing parties to watch this historic address. Folks are invited to watch this historic event on Thursday, September 24th at Elms College in Chicopee during the day and at Huller Hall at St. Michael's Cathedral that same evening. Joining me now is Dr. Marty Peon from Elms College in Chicopee to tell us more, and nice to see you, Marty.
Good to be here, Sharon.
So, Marty, tell us about these 2 events.
We have 2 events planned. The first event will be a live viewing of the Pope's address to Congress at the Elms College in Chicopee, and that will be held in the dining room. We've invited students and faculty and staff to stop by and view if they possibly can. And then we have members of the faculty and staff who also have agreed to offer their thoughts and comments after the presentation is finished. So we're hoping that people will come and perhaps stay for a while afterwards to talk about what they've heard. when the Pope visits Congress.
Sounds exciting. So what do people have to do if they want to attend?
The events are open, and so people can just simply arrive. The event will be held at the campus center in the dining room, and the dining room is open all day long, so people can come in and find a spot. The viewing is at 10 o'clock.
All right, thanks so much, Marty Peon, for being with us today, and best of luck to you on your exciting day.
Thank you.
And perhaps the luckiest person will be our own Bishop Mitch, who will be the guest of Congressman Richard Neal, watching the papal address in person from the House Gallery. And remember, the viewing parties again are at Elms College in Chicopee, September 24th, beginning at 10 a.m. in the dining hall, and at St. Michael's Cathedral in Springfield in Huller Hall, beginning at 7:30 p.m. Be sure to stay up to date on the Pope's visit by logging on to our website at iobserve.org. Meanwhile, Elms College will also be the location for this year's Holyoke Catholic Fall Musical. While many high school kids were busy relaxing this summer, a group of Holyoke Catholic students were memorizing dialogue, lyrics, and stage directions.
People all said, sit down, you're rocking the boat.
One of the greatest American musical comedies of all time will be presented by Holyoke Catholic High School's Performing Arts Club this month. Members of the club have been rehearsing for Guys and Dolls since midsummer. Director Eva Stockheimer says this 1950 Tony Award winner for Best Musical is a classic.
Guys and Dolls is a marvelous old school type of musical, I like to call it. It has Boy Meets Girl, all of that, but the side angle to this is that they have gamblers. And there's a lot of boy roles, which not every musical has. For one reason or another, this one was written that way. So there's a lot of fun, interesting male characters, as well as some fun female characters.
Holyoke Catholic senior Brett St. Ange plays notorious craps gambler Sky Masterson, who falls in love with mission girl Sarah Brown, played by Molly Yarrows. Brett says that he had to do some research on gambling in preparation for this role.
Actually, there's a couple lines in the play that talk about a parlay and Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego, and I told Miss Eva, I was like, I don't know how to pronounce any of this, so I had to go through it a couple times before I was able to say it all.
Senior Abigail Malowin plays the iconic character of Miss Adelaide, who has been engaged to the infamous gambler Nathan Detroit for 14 years.
She always loves him no matter what. And it was a challenge to play this character a little bit. I love this show. It's one of my favorite shows, and the fact that I get to be Miss Adelaide is like a dream come true.
Performances for Guys and Dolls will take place at Elms College on September 18th and 19th. At 7:30 p.m., tickets are $14 for adults and $12 for seniors and students. And for tickets, you can call Amanda Malowin at 413-777-4701. I got a chance to see the show last weekend and I loved it. Great job, everyone. This is a big cast and it takes a lot of teamwork to make a performance like this work, so hats off to everyone at Holyoke Catholic. And for this week, that's Reel to Reel. Thanks for joining us for our first official show of the new season. And remember, you can watch all of our past segments and programs online on our YouTube channel. We have a link on our website at iobserve.org. And there you can also get up to date on all of the latest news from the Diocese of Springfield and beyond. That's iobserve.org. I will see you right back here next week for another edition of Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. See you then.
Reel to Reel is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.